What if the most powerful voice in your life is the one you keep leaving closed? Because a lot of people own a Bible. Some people even respect the Bible. Some people were raised around the Bible. But very few people ever slow down long enough to discover what actually happens when you let it speak to you. And when it does, it doesn't just give you information. It gives you direction. It gives you clarity. It gives you comfort. It gives you correction. And sometimes it feels like God knows exactly where you are and is speaking to you through Scripture. If loving others is one of the great callings of life, then sooner or later you hit a problem. How do I love difficult people? How do I forgive when I'm hurt? How do I respond when I'm angry? How do I make wise decisions? And how do I keep going when life gets heavy? And this is where Holy Scripture matters, because the Bible isn't just a religious book to admire from a distance. It's where God teaches us how to live. I have a fantastic quote from Mother Teresa. And she said, "People are often unreasonable and self-centred. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. And if you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway." Christians believe the Bible is not random, not just ancient literature, not just wise sayings collected over time, but inspired, that through human authors across generations, God gave us words that still carry life, truth, wisdom and power. Maybe one of the strangest things about Scripture is this: you can read a passage you've seen 100 times, and then one day it hits you like it's the first time you've ever seen it. For real. Not because the words changed, but because you were finally ready to hear them. And it hits you on a deep level. And for Christians, Scripture matters so deeply because it doesn't just contain good advice, it points us to Jesus. The Bible's not about making you religious, it's about revealing the heart, character, truth, and rescue of God. Which means when you open Scripture, you're not just opening an old book, you're opening a doorway into the voice, ways, and wisdom of the Creator God, who has left a trail for you to find Him. This happened to me with Psalm 23, probably one of the most well-known passages in the whole Bible. You've heard it, "The Lord is my shepherd." I'd heard it before, read it before, skimmed over it before, wrote a song about it before, but one day I tried something called Lectio Divina, which is just a slower, more prayerful way of reading Scripture. You don't rush. You don't just get through the chapter, you sit with it and you meditate on it and you read it again and again and you let it settle. And as I rolled those words around in my mind, something hit me. Not the Lord is a shepherd, not the Lord is the shepherd, but the Lord, the Creator God, is my shepherd. The Creator of heaven and earth is not distant, not vague, not theoretical, but personal. My shepherd. And honestly, that blew my mind a bit. Because if I can miss something that powerful in one of the most familiar verses in the Bible, how much more is waiting for me in the rest of the Scripture? And maybe the same's true for you. Scripture feels alive. This is one of the reasons people say the Bible is alive. Not because the pages move, but because somehow It keeps speaking into real life, into daily life. You read a verse one morning and it exposes an attitude you didn't even realise you were carrying. Sometimes it gives you peace. Sometimes it gives you courage. Sometimes it confronts you. Sometimes it helps you forgive someone you didn't even realise you were still holding in your heart. And sometimes it gives you the exact wisdom you need for the exact situation you're facing that day. That's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. But it is real. And if you stay around Scripture long enough, you start to notice something. This book doesn't just tell you about God. It keeps leading you towards Him. It's peeling away, layer by layer, the depth of meaning that's hidden in there. And here's something loads of people don't even realise. A lot of Bibles already have built-in help for real life, especially those little New Testament and Psalms editions like the ones the Gideons often give out, or as they're called, Good News for Everyone copies in the UK. Here in the front, there's often a little section, a bit like a phone book. It'll say feeling anxious. There's a page for that. Grieving. There's a page for that. Facing fear. There's a page for that. Feeling hopeless. Then turn to this page. Even if you don't know where to start, you can start there. And honestly, that matters. Because a lot of people don't need a theological lecture first. They just need to know. Where do I go when life hurts? And Scripture has been answering that question for generations. So maybe this week, don't just own a Bible. Open it. Don't just skim it. Sit with it. Try reading slowly. Try Lectio Divina. Take one short passage, maybe even Psalm 23, and read it until one phrase catches your attention, then ask, what is God showing me here? What do I need to notice? What do I need to live? Because Holy Scripture is not dead words on a page. It's one of the clearest ways God still speaks truth, wisdom, comfort, and direction into human lives, and if you let it, you may discover that the book you thought you were reading was reading you back all along. So, our next video is consequences. If you follow the wisdom compass and love God, love yourself, love others, and check your actions and your conclusions against Scripture, then your consequences should be that you will be patient and kind, etc., etc. I'll see you in there.